There it is. Recording in progress. Hi, everybody. It's Daggercast again. And right now my view is me and Brian are like next to each other. So it's good
We
to
are.
see.
It's very familial.
I know, I like it a lot. This is Lindsay Charles. I don't know. I like horror movies. I watched a horror movie while I was working today. I hope my boss doesn't watch this podcast. And then this, of course, is the great Brian Kirst.
Oh, stop. The grape. Actually, I'm wearing lime, right? So I can't be the grape. I guess lime.
I like your final girl hat.
It's from Churches. One of the best. I think Screen Violence, one of the best releases of 2021.
Okay, well that's good. Speaking of 2021, it's the end. It's over.
It's done.
I have been. Ryan and I finally got our own Shudder. Which I mean, shout out to Sarah Yazel for letting us borrow yours, but we were due to just have our own. And we gave her.
Grown-ups.
We can keep it now.
Need your own Shudder.
But I've been watching the best of 2021s, and so many of them were directed by women.
That's awesome, because I brought my little prop here to introduce our very special guest. The latest Horror Hound has a special section on 5 slasher films by women directors. And
wonderful.
I know we all want to get to a day where we don't have to signify things, but it's still really, really important, and they go into some nice detail about Slumber Party Massacre and
wonderful. Yeah, I really want to I want to shout out specifically to two movies. Right. One is the movie Slacks, where pants kill people. The thing causing the pants to kill is not what you think, and it's pretty awesome. And again, it's like one of those things where I'm like, I feel like cultures were actually like part of the story, like have like different cultures were a part of the actual plot. So that was kind of cool. And it was directed by a woman. It was actually very good. I thought it was just going to be funny horror, but it was actually pretty good. And then also a movie called Violation, which was on Shudder, but I mean, it was like horror in a much more cerebral way. You're basically watching like a woman it's like a rape revenge movie, but you're just watching a woman like all the way through murdering someone, and how just completely difficult that actually is for both you and your tiny, like your body, that, you know, you then have to like get rid of an entire other body. It really like put me in an emotional state that I was not prepared for. And I thought it was really good. And the woman who starred in it was also the director.
Nice.
I forget her name. Nice. But yeah, it was amazing. So yeah, Shudder's really kicking ass in the sense of representation and giving people a platform to have people watch your stuff. And obviously it's, you know, being like, the reception is great. And I like that they, you know, there's like a whole section of best of 2021, but then they also had like a women directors. And yeah, I think women are cranking out some good shit. So I was
speaking of women who are cranking out amazing stuff.
Hey, yes.
I'm so excited to have the amazing multi-hyphenate actress, writer, producer, Debra Sullivan with us. She has had an amazing career. Anyone who has actually seen Secret Santa as well, which is an amazing holiday horror flick, knows that she deserves to star in every Tennessee Williams, Lillian Hellman play across the board. Amazing presence, and but she's been involved in so many things. Every one of your favorite soap operas she's had appearances on. She's a writer, director. She co-wrote the Texas Chainsaw 3D, which I know she's got a ton of stories about. So, but she's another amazing woman, not only in horror, but in entertainment. And we're so honored to have her here. So let's get the amazing Debra Sullivan on here with us to make
my goodness. That's too much. That's too much good. I'm embarrassed. Can you see? I'm blushing.
Oh, well, the truth hurts. The truth hurts.
Yeah.
Or at least, gives you a skin reaction
There you go. I am so excited to see you. I mean,
yay.
we met at the horror Chicago. What was the name of it?
Chicago
The first year.
horror film fest. I forget there was a
By the way,
special
my
name.
memory is like,
I know mine too right now.
yeah, I'm like, I have COVID brain. I'm lucky I remember my name. But you were just the nicest, sweetest guy. And I just had an immediate affinity for you. And I think that you are terrific. And Lindsay, I haven't had a chance to meet you, but I'm sure you're wonderful too if you work with this guy.
Thank you. No, seriously, I
Thank
count
you.
myself lucky to even, I don't know, when he was the one to suggest that we do a thing. So
we're doing a thing.
this man rules, and I am very, he's a complimentary love. I love him very much.
Oh, thank you. Now it's my turn to
Right.
people,
There you go, blush. Just blush away.
Blush away. We're a twin tone here.
Well, I'm so happy Brian got you on the show. I don't even know where to begin, but I guess we should, I don't know.
Let's begin from the beginning. What led you into this crazy world?
Oh my goodness.
Did
Okay.
you wake
We're
up?
gonna go all the way back there.
All the way back. Let's do it.
Okay, my origin story, and I'll try to keep it as short as I possibly can. I'm a native Los Angelino, second generation. No one in my family has ever been involved in the business. They all think I'm crazy. It's fine by me. But from as long as I can remember, I wanted to perform. I just was drawn to it, and I would like go to neighbors' houses and knock on their doors and sing songs and then demand money. So I've never been shy.
Well, it's good that you knew that there was commerce involved with
Exactly. Well,
from the get-go. Some of us don't. So
you got to get your money somewhere.
Yeah.
So then things happened, and I didn't get the opportunity to pursue what I wanted to pursue at an early age. And I suddenly realized after I'd had my son that I didn't have anybody who could tell me no anymore. I was like, oh, I can do what I want to do. So I signed up for some local community theater. And I guess my funniest story about me, which leads into my mantra, which is persevere, go after it, no matter what, don't let anybody tell you no. The local community college was doing a musical. I was like, yes, I want to do that. Let me be in the musical. And it was a class on, when you go sign up for classes and they have class numbers and stuff. So I went over there and everybody was like, I don't know what this class, I don't know. And I'm like, no, see, it's a class. It says right here. They said, just show up the first day of class and tell the professor you want to get in. I'm like, okay. So I walk in and sit through an entire rehearsal of The King and I, which apparently had already been cast and was already in production. I didn't know. So I walked up to the director and I said, hi, I'm taking your class. I want to be in the play. And he's like, kind of already done here. I'm like, oh, no, it says it's a class. And I was told that I could come here and that I could get in it. And he's like, oh my God, okay. Can you sing? And I'm like, yes, I can. He goes, fine, go over to the choral director. And if you can sing, we'll put you in as one of the wives. And I did. And then I actually ended up getting some lines. And it was just a really good lesson for me that if I want it really bad enough and I'm willing to do whatever it takes, including making a fool of myself because I don't know what I'm doing, I usually can succeed in it. So that's sort of my mantra for everybody. Anybody who wants to be in this business, you got to want it really bad, and you got to have a thick skin, and you just got to go for it. Was Indiana Jones says, never tell me the odds. Yeah.
Nice.
So that's kind of my beginning origin story. And got married, had another kid, got divorced. Then I met Adam. And my husband, Adam Marcus, by the way, he's painted the Harrington behind me.
Nice, the Keith Haring. That's
Yeah, I
that's
noticed.
amazing.
Yeah,
That's
he's
amazing. It's
he's the most talented person I've ever met in my entire life.
Awesome.
But he had just finished directing Jason Goes to Hell. We met when he was in post. And
He was young when he did that, right?
he was
Yeah.
23 when the movie came out.
Wow.
And I met him when he was 24. And I was writing theater at the time. I'd written a couple plays that had won some awards.
Nice.
And we met at a networking function, saw each other across a crowded room. And seriously, there was all these people here, and I was kind of hanging out with the crowd over here, and he's kind of hanging out. And as the evening disappeared, we just were kind of drawn to each other.
Oh.
And we courted, to put it nicely, for a while. And then we finally decided, we're in love and we're going to move in together and we're going to live together. And one day we were like, well, this is silly. I mean, he was writing screenplays, I was writing plays. We're like, why don't we write something together? And he had this book that he had read as a teenager. I don't remember what the original title was, but it was like this great horror film. And I love horror. Although I have to say, even with Texas Chainsaw, I'm more of a classic horror person than a slasher horror person, but I still love horror. And we wrote a screenplay called Virgin, based on a James Patterson novel, and it got bought by Paramount. And it's still sitting at Paramount. One of these days it's going to get made. Yeah. But it's awesome. And from then on, we just started writing together, and I was still acting. And besides directing, Adam also teaches acting in LA. Oh. So we've been running the class for like 25 years and just having a great time with that. And then after we did the movie Conspiracy, which we wrote, that Adam directed, with Val Kilmer, we met our partner, Brian Sexton, because it was like, how can we all survive this and get out of this alive? It was not the best of circumstances to work under.
Conspiracy film?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I won't.
I've seen some of the posts on Facebook about that process. So
yeah, it's I won't say ill, but I will say that some people are very difficult to work with and can make it very difficult on everybody. And then several of the actors that we worked with were just dolls and wonderful. But anyway, we met Brian, who was an associate producer on, and we started a lifelong friendship. And then Adam and I sold some other things, and then we got hired for Texas Chainsaw, which I know you want to talk about. And while being a wonderful experience, it was also not a wonderful experience. And that's when we decided that we wanted to do our own productions. We wanted to have our own production company. So we joined with Brian and started Skeleton Crew. And Secret Santa was our first movie out of the gate. And it was because we wanted to sink or swim on us. And what a lot of people don't realize is when you write for a studio, they pay you, and they pay you very nicely, but then that's it. You no longer have any control over the project. So they can go and do whatever they want to do with it. They can rewrite it. You have no copyright on it at all. However, your name is still on the screen written by. And while we get a lot of compliments on the script, there are things in there that we would have never put in there. And, fans sometimes like to point out all those things that just weren't right.
Because they got to,
They got to.
You got to.
They have nothing else better to do.
They just have to.
Exactly.
I don't know why.
and I love you for it. But then I have to go, yeah, but we didn't write that. No, we didn't do that. We we had written really a much more how do I say this? We believe in our writing that if you can't care about all of your characters, you're not going to be as invested as you could be. And unfortunately, they took most of our characters and turned them into unlikable people. I mean, we never had our best friend screw her boyfriend. We never had them pick up a hitchhiker and then leave the guy alone in the mansion while they go into town. I mean, they were just, so we, like I said, we got the job. We enjoyed writing. We enjoyed the money that we got paid. And we didn't even see the film until right before it came out. And we got invited by the production company to come and sit and watch them. And we were in a theater all by ourselves, just the two of us. And we watched it. And look, Alessandra Daddario, I mean, the performances were really good. And the beginning where we went from the original into the present, or it wasn't the present, it's supposed to be the 90s. That was all us, but so much of it got changed and cut down. I mean, the carnival scene was really crazy. And the really fun part of it actually was that we've never written 3D. And it's really like, you have to like wrap your brain around not only how am I going to kill all these teenagers in an interesting way and make it fun for the audience, but how can I get that even better and enhance that in a 3D thing?
This is seriously like this has been the biggest question for me, because 3D was a thing, everyone had to do it. And now it's not even a thing. Like we barely do 3D movies.
Yeah.
And I think it's because they just didn't do as much as people thought they would, or like they didn't pay as much as people thought they would. Most people were like, I'll just go to the 2D and not spend $1 bajillion. And my problem was making a chainsaw 3D sucks.
Yeah.
It's this.
Yes.
It's this. You can't even see
like
it.
coming right at you.
It's like a perfect it's just a line. It's coming at you like a line. And so when they, even from the side, it was just this dirty brown thing. I couldn't even tell if it was rotating. Like it was just like.
Well, one of the things that we had in there, which I think would have made your chainsaw more enjoyable, was when they're trapped in the van, her and her boyfriend. We wrote that scene completely different. And one of the things was the chainsaw was coming because the car got turned over sort of upside down. So it was coming through like the thinnest part of the metal, and it was coming right at them. And the boyfriend, in order to save her, grabs it, stop it, and his fingers go flying right off into the camera.
That would have been cool.
That would have been cool. But they had budget problems. They had a lot.
I was about to say, we don't have the money for fingers.
Yeah. We wrote a much more expensive movie than they actually got to make. And I understand, and it's a business, and look, it came in #1 at the box office. So
I mean, you made something like 20 mil from what I saw.
Yeah. No, it did really well. We still get residuals from it, which is really nice.
Good, because I just bought this on YouTube. So.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Thank you. I'll give you a Pelosi on that one.
I also think it's a very timely movie, to be honest. Because you've got a bunch of angry white men doing literally whatever they want, like forming militias to murder a whole family. And then it's like 20 years later, they're still doing the same thing. and the like, I loved how I like wrote it down where I was like, wow, the end of this, like the whole movie is basically like toxic masculinity loses.
Mhm.
Thing where somebody was like, or when that cop is like going through the house and he's like, I don't know, guys. And the guy's like, do I need to hold your hand? Like, and he's like, no, you don't. I'm a big boy. Like, it was hilarious to watch these men just like constantly just like showing their white manliness just everywhere, being like, so much that I'm gonna kill a girl. Like,
Yeah, that's one of the hallmarks of our writing, besides writing characters that you actually care about, is we have social statements that we want to make.
yeah.
And
No, I got that one for
you
sure.
don't have,
It was
you don't have to necessarily hit people over the head, because you want to give them that spoonful of sugar while you're giving them the you know, the medicine. And Secret Santa was like that.
Yep,
awesome.
definitely.
Oh, I can't wait to see this. Now
About a
that,
bunch of white
that I've seen
privileged
this-
people. Oh, you haven't seen it?
no, I haven't seen Secret Santa.
Oh,
I'm very excited. Brian told me
okay.
about it, and I was like,
She's
"Chris,
working her
this
way
movie?"
slowly through your viewer there. You know,
Oh, my-
she's
I mean,
gotta
seriously,
take her time and savor it all. You know? Really take it all in. But
Okay.
Well, I really,
the amazing thing about Secret Santa, which is an amazing holiday slasher film, but
Thank
as
you.
where can I watch this?
You can rent it on Amazon, you can buy it on Amazon, or you can order it directly from us at secretsantathemovie.com.
yeah,
Awesome. Okay.
get it signed, get that stuff, you know, a
You
little
can get it signed, you can get a poster, you can, we have all kinds of stuff on the
lots of
website.
swag.
Cool.
But
Make sure that if you're gonna get it from Amazon, that you get the right one, because there's two
Okay.
Secret Santa movies. One's like 2005 and ours is 2018.
Okay.
It's the guy on the lawn with the severed head in his hand. That's
Nice.
the cover. So you want that one.
but
And I apologize in advance for how horrible I am.
Oh. Oh, because
as I mentioned, Lynn Hellman
awesome.
and Tennessee Williams and all those channel all those amazing
Thank you.
characters from all those great gothic, you
Yeah.
know.
Shari is a piece of work.
Yeah. But just to reiterate your point about diversity and trying to write from a compassionate state of being, the cast and the characters in that, as awful as they are, you've got handicapped performers, you have women of all ages and all shapes and sizes. There are black and actors and you know, gay characters, and it's truly you've set out to do, you've done what you've set out to do, you know, by
Thank you. We're really proud of that movie. We really are. And I think what's happening is it's getting sort of towards that cult status, because it's getting word of mouth. And when we made it and we went to distribute it, it was right at the time when people weren't doing DVD and Blu-ray anymore. Everything was streaming. And so I don't think it got the attention that it could have gotten had it been, you know, on sale everywhere else, and people would have picked it up. But it's doing good, and we love it, and we're very happy. And we're, you know, we're working on so many other things right now. We'll just keep going.
I'm excited. Because I'm happy that you guys are still writing. Like, this is really, like, I don't know. I think a lot of people, especially, I don't know, during COVID and stuff, I've seen a lot of people fizzle out. So this is really cool.
We actually had the opposite. It was one of our most productive periods, because what else could we do? And, you know, when you're married and you live together and you work together, COVID, knock on wood, was not as difficult on us as it was on a lot of people, because we're used to it. We work at home, you know, and we kept the acting classes going. We did them on Zoom.
Oh, okay.
So we got to see our actors, you know, every Tuesday and Wednesday night. And we had friends that we would, you know, get together with and socially distance outside and wear our masks. But yeah, and we wrote so much. The one thing that we wrote, which probably the thing we're most proud of, is a television series. We wrote the first 10 episodes of a television series called Mosaic, and we're in the process of shopping that now.
Nice.
And that's
Awesome.
thriller, not horror,
Nice.
but it's really cool, really cool. So
do you have writers that have really inspired you, like playwrights or poets or you know,
oh
were there writers
gosh,
that really
yeah, well,
got you going?
obviously screenwriters, William Goldwyn.
Yeah.
Okay.
William Goldman is one of my favorite writers. I just think the man is brilliant. And for playwrights, I like, I hate to say this because during the Red Scare and the, you know, communist whatever, I guess he wasn't the best guy, but I have always been a William Inge fan.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I have always liked his storytelling. So,
well, there was a trans director who was working briefly here in Chicago with one of the theater companies, and they did Picnic. And I guess they had done some research, and there is some speculation about Inge's sexuality. That I guess they even went into depth and thought there might be some trans qualities that he was kind of suppressing through his life. But they did this brilliant production of Picnic that just kind of subverted everything.
that was actually one of my favorite plays to do.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And I can totally see you playing some of those parts,
totally. Well, this was many years ago. So yeah. I played the ingenue.
Yeah.
But yeah, I completely understand what you're saying, because he does have that compassion and that sensibility, almost like Douglas Sirk did for his movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where he was saying more than you were seeing. And so definitely. Maybe that's kind of what inspires us to do that as well.
All that pent up, passion and intrigue. Yes, Sirk is just the visuals. Oh my goodness. Amazing.
And I really liked Far From Heaven, which was an ode to him.
Yes.
Which was also, dealing with homosexuality and dealing with Black and white couple, all of that stuff. It was really good.
Yeah. And just, do you think what you're doing with Skeleton Crew, that is the way for the entertainment world to kind of, you need to kind of do it on your own, that Hollywood's not going to give you that diversity and women in power? And do you think it's taking a bunch of creative people like yourself and just going, hey, we need to maybe work within the system to make some money, but also create our own stuff so we can, cast people who don't normally get cast and.
Yes and no.
Okay.
I would say yes for us. We have an amazing troupe of actors, and again, we have gay, straight, Black, white, Indian, every nationality, every age. We have our youngest actor is 19 and our oldest actor is 78.
Wow.
So when we write, we always write strong female characters, and we want as much diversity as we can put in our stuff that makes sense to the plot of the thing. We're not trying to hammer something in there just to be politically correct. It's got to come from a natural gut place where it makes sense for the story and brings dignity to the characters. What's happening now in the studio system is they're actually swinging the pendulum completely the other way. So it's a wonderful time for women directors, for gay and trans, for Hispanics and Blacks, and they are getting their due. so now all of us who were over here are now kind of over here, and we're taking our back seat. And so within the studio system, no, it's more diverse than it's ever been.
Okay, interesting.
But it's difficult for us to work sometimes in the studio system because we're not in that demographic that is now being valued as it should have been all along.
Yeah.
So us doing our own material and our own stuff gives us the opportunity to still do all of that, but do what we want to do. And Adam's an amazing, amazing director.
Yes.
He has such compassion for his actors. He and beyond all the technical stuff, because he knows everything. He knows how to frame a shot and how he wants it, and whether it should be in a master, or whether we should shoot from up here, or whether we want to, you know, all that stuff that the director's eye has. But then he works amazing with actors, and a lot of directors focus so much on the technical and don't really know how to talk to actors to get the performances that they would like out of them. So he's really the whole package.
Well, he has a
Aw.
theater background as well, correct?
Yes.
Like a huge theater background.
Yeah,
So you
he did theater all through junior high and high school, and then he started his own theater company when he graduated from high school. And I think he's had 3 different theater companies and put on huge productions, all of which sold out and, you know, won awards. He has that passion, and that's, you know, that's what it really is. He has, this is his life blood, you know.
Yeah.
Then
yeah.
I'm kind of the same way. I've had many jobs in my lifetime, but I would never stop acting, and I would never stop writing.
Well, that's the amazing thing is you don't have to, even if you're working, as we all do, as I do, you know, a full-time job doing something else, you know, I'm writing on my little iPad on the train to work every day, and
Absolutely.
taking my lunch breaks and kind of, you know, doing a blog or whatever. So they're amazing, very flexible tools and gifts to have. And I think a lot of people think, well, if you're not doing it full time, then it doesn't count. And I'm like,
No. Especially if you're a writer.
Yep.
If you're a writer, you need to write every day.
Yep.
Even if it's crap.
Yep.
You need to sit yourself down in front of your computer and just write.
Yeah.
And, you know, give yourself a I'm writing 5 pages today. I might rewrite those 5 pages tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I'm going to write 5 pages today. And that just keeps you going. It keeps the juices, much like I'm in acting class 2 nights a week, because that's my gym. That's the actor's gym. I'm working out, I'm working my instrument, so that when I am on Criminal Minds or one of our movies or something like that, I'm ready. I'm not rusty. So yeah.
Nice.
This is all very inspiring because
Oh, good. Good.
I need to hear this a lot sometime.
Yeah.
Well, now what is your passion, Lindsay? I don't know.
Everything. Well, seriously, everything. I wrote plays in college. And I haven't written them since, which is just like, that was the thing I wanted to do. I loved it. And then I was just kind of like, I don't know, I got really jaded by the Chicago theater scene because I felt like no one was looking for me specifically. Then I got in a band with my husband, who wasn't my husband when I met him, but he is now my husband. And that's like, we had a kid and we moved to Indianapolis and be closer to fam. And it's been like a struggle because it's like we haven't written music because we've just been super busy, right? Getting a whole new career, and I'm kind of just trying to hold mine down. And it's just been like, okay, how, like, when do I get to carve time out for myself again? And I just keep telling myself, like, you can do it. You just got to get up, like, carve out time for the AgriCast. So
I think what it can be overwhelming, you know, because I've certainly been where you are. And I remember when my son, this is a lesson I learned. I remembered when my son was in school, and certain subject so overwhelmed and just look at it from, oh, it's this, it's all this. And his teacher told him, you got to chunk it down. Just chunk it down so that you're not overwhelmed by all of this. I can do 10 minutes a day. I can sit down and write 10 minutes a day, even if it makes no sense and it's, you know, not what I wanted to do. You're giving yourself that permission to take 10 minutes out of your day. And anybody can find 10 minutes in their day. You can do it on, sorry to be indelicate, you can do it on the toilet. Take your laptop in the bathroom.
Seriously.
Lock the bathroom door so your kid can't come in and your husband can't bother you, and take 10 minutes and write.
Yeah.
Just like sit on the lid, because if you sit on the toilet, apparently hemorrhoids.
No, you don't want that.
My aunt just had hemorrhoid surgery. She doesn't listen to this.
I'm so sorry. I can't even imagine.
And I also think you need to be kinder to yourself too. And you're doing this, you know, you're doing a podcast. You are still doing music videos for your tunes. And Debra, Lindsay is one of the most amazing front women I've ever seen. Like the Cell Phones is this kind of pop punk odd art fusion band, and she's amazing on stage. Amazing.
I miss doing it. I'm slowly dying.
Send me, do you have any video?
Yeah, we got music videos. Actually, I'm going to crank out like
videos. Let me look at it.
Cool. Yeah, I absolutely will. I will do that 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's just, yeah, getting back into the swing of things, especially just after the world just kind of changed, you know, as being a performer. Now we're performing in kind of a different way now. And this like last bout of, I had so many friends that had so many shows lined up, and they all dominoed down. And I felt so bad, even like from afar, just being like, man, I wanted to see you play. Like it, yeah.
You know, we had the same thing. I mean, our industry, film and television, shut down for a year and a half. And then it would kind of come back, you know. I managed to do 13 Fanboy in the midst of that before it got too crazy. But I listened to actors a lot who were like, I'm not getting any auditions. I haven't had an audition in a year. And I'm like, of course you haven't had an audition in a year. The world has been shut down.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So you need to cut yourself some slack.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You're always doing the best you can.
It's so funny because I'm sorry, when I had a kid, all of the all the mothers kept saying, like, be good to yourself, cut yourself some slack, you got to be good to yourself. And I remember being like, ha ha ha, I know how to be good to myself. But then I was like, oh shit. Like, I remember being like, well, I just got really mad at myself for not like breastfeeding right, or like for not.
No such thing. There's no such thing.
There isn't. But yeah, it was just kind of funny, like to
you can't
really,
find
it's like the
other
like
people's crap. You can't find other people's crap. You have to know you and what's right for you. How old is your kid?
She's 2. She's almost 2. She'll be 2 this month.
And she's adorable.
She's the best. She's literally the coolest kid. And I'm sorry, I'm talking about my kid on the
No, that's okay. Is she in the terrible 2s yet?
She's getting there. She's like she's slowly climbing the ladder of terrible, but she still like still is like, I don't know, now she's in the phase where she wants to hug. So I'm down and say thank you. So I go, thank you. And I'm like,
that's it. They'll make you crazy, and then they'll be so damn cute that you don't know what to do. There was one time, I'm sorry, we're talking about kids.
No,
there was one time I was a single mom at the time, and my son was 2. And, you know, so I was going to work all day. I had a full-time job, and then coming home and taking care of my son, and nothing else was happening. I couldn't see myself doing anything else because it was just me. And one day I was so frazzled that I locked myself in the bathroom.
Oh no.
I locked myself and my son's out there going, mommy,
Oh, no.
mommy. And I'm like, honey, just give mommy a few minutes. Mommy just needs a few minutes to get my shit together.
Yes.
And then I came out. But yeah, you got to take care of yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we have to, I don't know. I feel like you guys are the same in the sense that you have to feed some kind of creative outlet.
Yeah.
Is this thing. You both do really good. And yeah, my husband and I obviously we met the first day of band practice. So when we don't do music, I'm just like, man, like we're doing this other thing. We're like jamming out by parenting a baby. But then it's like, pick up your bass. Let's do this again. So
jam out with your baby.
oh, dude,
that's
she's
true.
sick on the xylophone. Sick.
There you go.
See, there you go. There you go.
Should be good.
A
She's
new 3-piece right there.
There you
yeah.
go.
I want her to be
Right there.
I want her to be
kind of like
I want her to be a good
Debra and
singer.
Adam. You're there together. You create together. You know, you got the setup. You got the setup. You just need
Absolutely.
to
And
let
he
it
doesn't
happen.
hear me. He's literally in the other room playing Dead by Daylight.
Awesome.
I know. He loves horror too. He made the Daggercast logo.
Yeah.
So that's
Oh, it's very cool.
Yeah.
It's like I can only see like part of it, but it's
Yeah, but it's really cool.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
Yeah.
So I have to ask,
Yeah.
and maybe I'm being forward here, but who's Jared?
Jared is our producer. Jared is the coolest guy.
Jared
Jared and
doesn't
I
want to be
met-
on camera. Jared doesn't want to talk to me.
He leaves the talking to us.
Jared's adoring you from afar, and I think he gets a huge. He's also an incredibly talented musician. He's
What a
got
wonderful
project
musician.
called Might Smoke, where they're doing commercials now. They just did the rebranding of Aunt Jemima. You know, they did
Yeah, that's big.
the score for that, and he's just released a video. But he's just so supportive of the podcast, and it's so rare. I think as you know, and I thank him and brag about him all the time. It's hard to kind of take a backseat when you're used to being on stage, and he's so supportive and loving and loves what we're doing and loves what we're talking about here and promotes it and gets the guests, and it's just so heartwarming and touching to see a very talented artist kind of taking a backseat and promoting something and seeing the good in what we're doing. And we had worked together for many years, and he loved what I was doing with Big Gay Horror Fan. And when we first talked about doing a podcast, he wanted to kind of do that. And I was like, no, let's bring on a woman of color. Let's talk about, you know, a whole bunch of diverse issues. And so, yeah, so Jared's amazing. And I think he gets a huge kick out of interacting with performer types that he normally wouldn't interact with. So
he's also doing a lot of kind of along the lines of what you guys have been doing. He's doing music lessons online. So we've all kind of tried to pivot in the ways we know how. So yeah.
Well, Jared, it's lovely to not meet you.
He'll pop
congratulations. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Yeah.
Aww.
You mentioned earlier, which I think we would be remiss to not bring up, was 13 Fanboy, which is Debra Voorhees, who, you know, was in Friday 5, A New Beginning, also has pivoted and become a great writer, director in New Mexico. She did a great speculative piece on Shakespeare a number of years ago that I reviewed, but she has come up with this kind of Friday the 13th homage
It really
called
is.
13 Fanboy, and brought all you amazing people from that universe into it. So what part did you play? Can you tell us a little about the project?
Well, first of all, Deborah's a doll.
Yeah.
She's a doll. And they did a lot of local hiring in New Mexico, but then she called Adam up and said, I need to fill these characters, and I haven't found the right people, and would your people be interested in auditioning? And we're like, yeah, I'll go to New Mexico, happy to. And so I read for a detective and a police officer, and she had originally sort of thought the detective as a guy, but lucky for me, she liked my performance, so I became Detective Lori Evans.
Nice.
And it's really cool because my videos that, you know, when you send out for an audition and you're like, oh, here I'm playing a doctor, here I'm playing a mother whose son is dying, I didn't have anything that was cop. That was really great. So I had a wonderful time doing it, and I got to work with Dee Wallace Stone and Corey Feldman and Ron Sloan, and just some wonderful actors, and just had a ball. I had a ball. So
Nice.
yeah, and I know
Corey Feldman was in this.
Yes, and he is insane in the best way. Seriously, and he plays this kind of sleazy producer, but he put his own spin on it, and he was constantly improvising. So it was like, okay, I'm not quite sure where I'm supposed to come in here.
Yeah.
Okay, we're just gonna flow with it. And he was a doll. He actually had his birthday on the set, so that
nice
to me. And just a really nice guy. Dee is lovely. Everybody on, for the most part, everybody on the set was lovely. And I actually became friends, who was already sort of friends with Adam, with Vanessa Wright. Do you know Vanessa?
I don't know if I do.
She ran the Women in Horror Film Festival.
Nice. Okay.
In Georgia, which has now become the Renegade Film Festival.
Nice.
Yeah, and she's just a lovely woman who wants to direct, and she's actually a dollar baby. Do you know what a dollar baby is?
I don't.
A dollar baby.
I know. Well, you're going to learn something new.
I know. I love it.
So exciting. Stephen King will sell one of his stories to a student for $1 to make a short out of.
Nice.
And he gives them all the rights, and she was one of the dollar babies.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, so one of her first films was a short based on a Stephen King story.
That's so cool.
Yeah, she's a
I didn't know you did that.
she's a cool lady. If you ever want me to hook you up with her,
I think we would love that. Yeah.
She's hysterically funny. She's actually just brilliant at what she does. And I think the film festival this year, Adam and I are going to be there. I think it's in March.
Nice.
Can't even believe we're in January already.
Yeah.
And we're just, you know, it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's a really nice festival. It's laid back. It's not kind of crazy or anything like that, but everybody that comes is just so lovely. And it is primarily a horror film festival, although they've opened it up this year for a little bit more.
You talked about being more classic. Like my favorite is and your love for horror. Like my favorite is Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, which I don't think gets enough. You know, like when they go down the panel and everyone talks about their favorite horror film, I'm like, you know, I think the gays talk about it, but not people in the horror film community don't. And so that I always say that film.
Such an amazing movie. And I saw it at a time in my life where it was just scary enough, kind of like Psycho.
Yeah.
Whereas if you look at Psycho now, it's not as frightening as it was the first time I saw it. Oh my God. And I was babysitting. I thought I was going to die. It was so scared. Yeah. But I love that. I also love ghost stories and things like that that are eerie and atmospheric. And
that's what you mean when you were talking about Texas Chainsaw and how you were like, this is not my kind of horror.
Yeah. I mean, look, I obviously watch slasher films, and I can appreciate it. My husband wrote and directed an amazing one, actually.
Yeah.
And
Actually.
I just, if you were going to sit me down and say, okay, you can watch X teenagers getting killed in 17 different ways, and how
Mhm.
creative can we be that way? Or I'm sitting on the edge of my seat like this going, oh, because it's so creepy and weird and I don't know what's going to happen. I
just saw like one of the creepiest movies that wasn't necessarily like gory at all. It's called Caveat.
I haven't seen it.
Again, another Shudder movie where literally like it's so funny because you're like, what's the caveat? And then you are like, a guy's like, hey, I want to, can you house sit my house? And the guy's like, okay. And then he's like, you got to wear this vest though.
That's the caveat.
Yeah. And it's like, the vest has a chain, so you can only walk as far as the vest allows you to. And then it's like, oh, but also there's a girl in here and she's like schizophrenic. And then it's like, oh, but you're chained to, the key is over there. You can't even get to it. Like, it's this wonderful, and there's this toy in it that's like a bunny with like, it's got like, you know, like when people have fake eyes, like they're just kind of like flat things that look like eyeballs.
Mhm.
Obviously the bunny just has like normal human eyes, and he's just hitting this drum. It's terrifying. But it was like, this was like one of the movies I saw recently where I was like, nothing bad, like no blood needs to happen, nothing
Mhm.
to happen. I'm just terrified of like, and I'm like, how is this man gonna live? It was really good. And there was,
I love a lot of the Korean horror, and
yes,
like Inside, I think is a terrifying movie, especially if you're a woman.
Yeah.
yes.
High Tension. I loved High Tension.
High Tension was awesome.
Yeah,
And
and
it started off like kind of scared, like, you know, where I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this, and then I'm like, oh, like as you just go and go and go. So
and
good.
and and I also love horror comedy, like what's the one with the Nazi zombies in the snow?
Oh yeah,
Dead Snow.
Dead Snow.
Dead
Yeah,
Snow.
Dead
I
Snow.
love that movie. It's
Yeah.
great, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's awesome.
I like Wait Until Dark. I think it's one of the most frightening.
Audrey Hepburn. Oh my God, that's one of my faves. One of my faves. I love
That.
That's brilliant stuff.
That
in that.
made me. That I if you haven't seen it, I won't give it away. I know you've seen it. I don't know if you have, Lindsay.
I don't know. I don't remember, but
it's
Audrey Hepburn is a
brilliant.
blind woman.
Oh,
and
I vaguely remember this.
her husband's out of town, and somehow she gets like the wrong suitcase that has a doll with heroin in it or something. And they come to kill her to get the thing back. And Alan Arkin is one of the bad guys, and he's terrifying. And I've never jumped so high. This poor guy that was sitting next to me in the theater, I literally jumped into his lap. I didn't even know him. I was like, but yeah.
That's brilliant, and that has made me an Audrey Hepburn fan for life. And that's what's so amazing about that old school cinema is so many of those women, whether it's Carol Lombard or, you know, they have like deep in their resumes, they have that type of film, and I love hunting that stuff down and finding that stuff out. But like almost all of them, you know, Bette Davis, Joan Crawford, obviously, but so many of those old movie queens have like a hidden mystery or thriller or horror gem in their resumes. So
I also feel like, oh, I'm sorry.
No. I was just saying, did you watch Feud?
I haven't seen it yet. I have not seen it yet. No.
It's really great. And all the shit that those two women did to each other during whatever happened to Baby Jane and Sweet Charlotte. It's crazy.
Insane.
I didn't know it was that wild until
I know Joan Crawford used to like add like breasts, little like weights under her costume.
Yeah, because Bette Davis had to carry her out, and she added weights to her. So that and what's funny is the movie mimics their hatred of each other, because it's about two sisters who are jealous and treat each other horribly.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, one of the reasons why the movie is as good as it is because it's life imitating art or art imitating life.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
we digress.
No,
Oh,
but
sorry. No, I was gonna say that it's funny that you guys talk about like all these like classic old Hollywood art, like actresses and actors who do things that would be considered like a horror genre. Whereas like I feel like there was a time where people who were in like horror movies were one group and
Mhm.
stars weren't in horror movies. That wasn't a thing. But I feel like now, especially with like Jordan Peele and all of the kind of new kind of horror that we're all finding together, like we're seeing big Hollywood names like go, yeah, I do want to do a horror film. And sometimes
Yeah.
it's
It doesn't have
terrible.
the stigma that it used to. I mean,
Exactly.
when you think about the Hammer horror films, which are just so much fun and so cheesy, but
Mhm.
Christopher Lee and Vincent
Peter
Price
Cushing,
and they were horror people,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
movie stars wouldn't do that,
Mm-hmm.
or they would if their careers were on the downside
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and they couldn't get work like they used to. But yeah, now I think there are a lot of actors who are like, I want to be in a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
Even the Nicole Kidman one, The Others. Is that
Yeah.
what
Oh
it
yeah,
was?
I remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
That's
I
great.
mean, that was scary as shit. And you've got an Academy Award winning actress who's like, I want to do a horror movie.
Yeah. Jessica
Yeah.
Lange has been all the American Horror
Uh-huh.
Story
Yeah.
stuff.
I thought
Yeah.
Lupita Nyong'o was amazing. I think a lot of people thought she was weird to make that choice, but like because it was like, look, you just got nominated, you just won an Oscar. Like, what are you doing? And she killed it. Like she just does. And then she did the other horror, like the zombie film, where she was like it was like a silly zombie film where she was like a kindergarten teacher.
Little
And
Monsters or something like that. Was that?
yeah.
Monster?
I don't know that one.
Yeah, but it was just like, oh my gosh, like way to choose these roles, and then also be like, I could do a big meaty role if I want, but
Yeah.
I'm this. Like I like seeing that more. I do feel like
Honestly, it's fun. I
Yeah.
mean, playing Shari was in Secret Santa was some of the most fun I've ever had. Playing a despicable person can be a lot of fun, and you can't have a hero if you don't have a villain.
Yep.
And a lot of times the villain parts are just meaty and fun, and yeah, why wouldn't I want to play that?
Before we wrap things up, what you've done so much, Debra. Is there another role or something you did? Like I know you've kind of danced across all the soap operas, and I'm a huge soap fan. So I know you were delivering babies on Bold and the Beautiful, and
wow.
Yes, I was getting accused of stealing somebody's phone.
Yeah. Is there another project?
Daytime drama is a lot of fun, but it's like this, and
like no rehearsal. I heard,
yeah, and you got to be on, and you got to, and then they're just moving on.
Yeah,
and so I really enjoyed that. I guess probably one of my favorite roles, again as the mother with the dead child, was Criminal Minds, because it was a really meaty role. It allowed me to be vulnerable, and everyone on the set was amazing. But I look at it this way: if I'm working, I'm happy. It doesn't matter. I mean, unless the people that I'm working with are assholes, which doesn't usually happen very often, I am just so happy to be doing what I love, and the fact that I'm getting paid for it is even better.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that love and just that gratefulness kind of helps generate those sets for you somehow too. I think attitude has a lot to do it. And if you're going to go on set and just be grateful and have a great time, I think the people around you are going to respond to that as well. Or
Yeah.
one would hope.
One would hope.
One would hope.
One would hope.
One would hope. Well,
I got horror stories. I got great stories. You get to run the gamut after.
You get the good, you get the bad. You know.
Do you have anything to promote currently that's in production, working on this?
We have, well, as we said, we have our television series that we're shopping called Mosaic.
Awesome.
Which is sort of True Detective meets young Sherlock Holmes. It's very dark and edgy. Then we have our movie Dread, which is being set up right now. We are supposed to be in Louisiana in the beginning of March, I believe, beginning of March. And it's another thriller, but it's about human trafficking.
Oh, okay.
But definitely set in a thriller action movie with women who frigging kick ass.
Yes.
Yay. Love it. Love it. And where remind us where to, the websites, the Facebook pages, where people.
Oh, well, I'm on Facebook, Debra Sullivan on Facebook. Instagram is at Deb Sullivan M. And then I'm on IMDb. It's Debra Sullivan. So
and Skeleton Crew has. Skeleton
Crew is that's on Instagram. That's Adam. Adam is Skeleton Crew. He is. Yeah. I have to tell you, I suck at social media. I just do. I am so sorry. People are always so lovely and generous, and I feel like I'm letting them down. But I just, after everything that happened this last year with all the disinformation, and I just find social media to not be as good a place to be as you can.
Yeah.
Although it's a wonderful tool and you can catch up with people and you can promote your stuff. However, my husband, he is on top of it.
Okay.
He is on top of it. And we have almost all the same friends.
Yeah.
So it's, if I'm posting something that Skeleton Crew is doing, he's already posted it. They're already commenting on it. I'm just repeating it. So I just let him do it.
Always need a signal boost. Signal boosting is good.
Yeah, there you go. And you are a gorgeous signal booster, my friend, I must say. So talented and lovely. And thank you so much. This was such.
Thank you. It was so great to talk to you guys.
I'm starstruck. You are so great. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, you are lovely people. Jared, have a good night.
Once we stop recording, we can.
Once we stop recording, he'll be here.
Oh, okay.
Magically.
But thank you so much. Please check out Debra's work. Stay appraised of everything. Check out Secret Santa on Amazon Prime. Make sure it's the right one, though. Make sure it's the right one.
The 2018 one.
Skeleton Crew as well. And thank you once again, Debra.
Well, thank you guys. Mwah, mwah. Lots of love.